And we're back to our Festival of Storytellers, Chapter 3. This is a 2 week event on October 24th to November 7th. So we're still streaming live on our Reader's Magnet Facebook page, Reader's Magnet YouTube channel, on our Twitter account, and on the Festival of Storytellers Facebook account. So, what a very awesome interview earlier with our author Chad Chu. It was a very fun discussion. Yes, I hope our viewers were also interested and we're also learned a lot from it. Yes, definitely. And so, for those who are already logged in and registered to the festivalstorytellers.com, there's a lot of the things that you can discover. There's what we discussed earlier, the quizzes, where it has surprises and prizes for everyone. We also have the Wayfinder. So the Wayfinder is for fairgoers to learn more about the Festival of Storytellers schedule. You can go to our Wayfinder if you have your favorite author who you want to catch up on, watch their live session, their author of the hour. That you can check it in the Wayfinder. Just it's at the top right of the screen in the website. So that's a very easy way to navigate through the entire website. We also have another page, which is the booth page. It's where you can find authors doing their live sessions for 30 minutes. So that's quite a long time. There's a lot of discussions gonna be happening, a lot of interactions from our fairgoers, right? Who's gonna leave comments. So we encourage everyone to ask questions during their live sessions, during their live booth session. They can talk about anything and everything under the sun. So that's fun. That's the best time to really get to know the authors and their book. So it's basically sort of the same with our author of the hour, only that it's more of a personal communication with our author. So very well done for that. Again, for our Wayfinder, it's a detailed schedule of our events. So if you go to our website, you click on the Wayfinder, it gives you a list of our events, and you can directly click on the event, and it will lead you to the stream link where you can find or you can watch the events. Yes, definitely. So our discussion with Chetro, yes, I was the one who interviewed him during the pre-interview. Yes. How was it like? Was it any different when you interviewed him and now that when Rose interviewed him? Actually, he is still the same person. He's as fun as he is. He is very bubbly and he loves to talk. So that's why I mentioned the 5 minutes is a very short time for us to cover everything because he has a lot of things to talk about. And his book is very, very interesting. There's about psychology and romance. There's just a lot of things. Um, it was fun to see him really talk for an entire hour and answer questions from Red and also questions from our caregivers who logged in, registered, and sent their questions through the chat option in the author of the hour stage page. Yes, watching Red doing the interview was very enlightening. I'm sure a lot of our viewers would learn not just about psychology, but also philosophy and maybe learn more of how they can live life better. And since it's coming from a man who's been through quite a lot, it would sort of be the best or great source of a lot of life lessons, a lot of maybe new ways of tackling like difficulties, problems about life. So it's very great. Actually, also, since if I may share, I'm a psychology student. I was a psychology student, a psychology graduate. So listening to the man talk about psychology, it gives me a lot. It gave me a lot of how do you call it? Like memories. Looking back to yes, to what I've learned. He also one of the things he mentioned was mind over body, or like the mind is sort of like has the power over our body. So if I were to like tell you about it, mind over body, like what would you think, or like
What would you say about such a statement from everybody?
Well, my idea about that is that the mind is located at the upper part of our body. So it means that it has the control. It's a control panel of everything that you do. So it has the power to actually tell you what to do. It means that you have to not just physically, but also emotionally, psychologically, that it has the power to direct you on what to do and what to feel actually. Right? So I believe I would say that I love you from the bottom of my heart. It's not clearly correct or
Yes, it's not really correct.
accurate, I guess, because mind is the one controlling everything, even the emotions and the feelings that we actually feel in every day to day life. Right?
Yes.
So
So, did you maybe discuss it on your 5 minute interview?
oh, actually, no. That was really unfortunate that we were not able to go deeper to that level of discussion with this book. This 5 minutes was just the surface. It's just tip of the iceberg, as they say. That we just talked about questions on his inspirations, the book cover, the significance of the book to his life, and to, of course, to what the reason of writing the book, and encouraging everyone to read the book. So just very, very general questions actually, and seeing him do an entire hour of discussing about his book made me actually feel I actually felt happy for him to get a chance. He had a chance to
Talk a lot deeper about it.
yes.
5 minutes compared to an hour is such a big difference already.
I agree, I agree. So it was fun to really see him talk more and discuss more about his passion.
So, going back, actually, he did mention about like the mind over body. He sort of like explained how the mind, if your mind is feeling like a bit unwell, it would reflect on your body, and it really shows seeing how he related it to his experience, seeing as how he did, as he mentioned, he had a disorder, and it probably sort of like reflected on his physical experiences, his physical like body. But well, so yeah, it actually to kind of like elaborate about it, to share about like my
Please
own
do, please
understanding.
do.
Actually, there are a lot of studies about how like the mind can do such wonders, especially on maybe like um improving one's health. So if you this is why like placebos, if you know placebos exist because they sort of like trick you into placebo medicine. If nobody, if there's anybody don't know, there these are the medicines that actually don't have any effect, but are made to make you feel there's an effect on you. Yes, like they're presented to the patients and like they make these people think that they have an effect. So when they take it, they sort of like just think that I'm getting better by taking this, and just through that thought, they're actually doing better. So that is a big part of what Chachu shared to us, like um, by only simply thinking or like perceiving life maybe a little bit better, you will start to experience or manifest like really healthy living, healthy kind of living.
Wow. So it's like a trick medicine.
Yes, it's simply if you think about it, it's kind of like unethical, but it works. So
it's mind over body
yes,
actually.
mind over
Because
body.
you just have to trick your mind that it's working, and it will eventually show. It will eventually show to your body, to your skin. So if you're stressed, definitely
Yes, it will show.
it will show. So make sure that you manage your overall mind and condition your mind.
And one way to manage stress is, of course, by reading books.
Yes, I agree. I agree. The best way to escape reality is reading.
Yes.
Getting into someone else's mind and getting into someone else's world is the best way to really escape your problems, your anything that's bothering you. Just a quick read
can help a lot to relax your mind. Whether it be fiction, non-fiction, even if you're reading about like some heavy, sad fiction book, it will still make you feel better.
Yes, I agree. It's something, like I said, it's an escape.
Yes.
Escape from reality. And yeah, there's a lot of things that he talked in the interview. I've listened to it, I watched it actually. So it's really fun to to listen to him discuss about his passion.
Yeah. So another thing you mentioned is about romance.
Yes,
What can
I
you
know
say
that.
about it?
Well, based on his explanation, based on the discussion with Red earlier, he said it's unavoidable. Yes, you can't avoid it, and it can't be forced, right? So, since mind over body is his main agenda on how he can discuss things or how his book is about. So yeah, it's I believe over that the feelings are results on the mind's understanding. So they can't be forced. I believe so. It happens. If it happens, it happens, right?
I mean, since we talked about how romance is sort of like um, a result of the mind,
Mm-hmm.
do you think it can be for, I mean, if you think about maybe, if you start thinking that, oh, I probably like this person, I probably do you think that maybe one way or another you would start liking that person?
I think it's possible. It's possible. Nothing is impossible in this world. But again, if you have to keep reminding yourself of doing it, keep on telling yourself that that's it and that's how you wanted it. That's the person you wanted. Then I think that's how it should be. You can't force it. You can't stop it.
Yeah.
Once you put your mind in it, then it is. It's something that you can't just forget or do it right away.
Yes, I guess it goes to show that Chet Shook's book isn't really just, while it's loosely based, or not loosely, but while it's mostly based on his experiences, it isn't necessarily like a dark or a heavy on the emotions. Like it can also be light and it can be fun. I mean, like reading about romance, reading about psychology, it can be fun.
I'm sure, especially with the way he talks about it in his book, the way he positioned it, he's very creative in connecting everything. So I'm sure it's a lot of people will have fun reading the book. So you can grab a copy of his book available on Amazon and Barnes and Noble, of course.
So, what else did you maybe like? How to put this? Like, what did you maybe encounter? What was the difference between like interviewing him versus like watching him being interviewed?
Well, the fun thing about interviewing him is I got a chance to ask him questions right away.
Yeah.
And I get the chance to do follow-up questions. But watching him is a different feeling actually because I can see him in a way where he's free to answer his, especially the after the hours is an hour, so he can talk a lot of it and he can really you know explain it thoroughly and discuss it in a better way because of the time. There's no time limit to it, so it's fun watching him. Same time as interviewing him. So yeah,
Yeah. So I guess seeing also how his book tackles a lot of like these deeper concepts, psychology, philosophy, it could also benefit him to be interviewed in such a longer time.
yes. So we thoroughly discussed and expound the ideas of his book. So simultaneously as well as we had mentioned earlier, we have also Scott Run.
Oh yeah. So he is also doing his
Live
live
session.
session.
Yes.
So,
You can find him in a Wayfinder, right? There's a way for you to go there, and you can catch him doing his live session, discussing about his book, the book of it.
yeah. So what is the book of it?
So I think it's just about philosophy, right? Religion, his experience. It's a modern psychological book that he wrote. It features, like I said, collection, essays, a collection of essays that tackles about history, which is very, very unique. So it's an explanation of what he uncovered over the years of doing research and reading. So it's a very, very tedious process for him. And I'm excited to actually listen to him. So those who are also tuning in, yes, you can visit his booth and watch his live session after us.
It's actually very interesting if you think about it since we've listened to Pleasure and now we have Outrun, which both tackling like philosophical concepts. They're sort of like um, similar, but also in a different sense. Touch based his book on his experience, while Outrun based it on mostly
Yes, historical events and um, essays that he wrote. So there's a lot of things that he discussed about his book. He's into the legends of the world and tales um, of unknown centuries of people manipulated by virtue of what they wish to have and how they are taught. So it's about being able to understand those things because you have to go back to history. You have to go back to history to understand the future.
Yes. As you can, as everyone knows, like you can't really grow into a better person unless you look back into where you came from. And
Hmm.
so, how do you think, like, what differentiates the book that's made from experience related is from what experience versus a book that's like really based and how are they different?
Oh, that's a very tough question. Yes, but as a reader myself, and I also do research before, um, doing a book based on your own experience is, it's more easier, and based on the authors that we interviewed, when we asked them how they come up with a story or how they decide to write a book, it's easier for them to. I actually noticed it easier for them to write for a start if it's based on their experience because they already know a lot and they can
More easy to unravel.
yes, definitely. And there's not much of things that they have to consider if it's true or not, because it's their own experience. They are the author. They have the right to share it or not, right?
Yes, but I guess also to sort of like contradict that opinion, I guess it can also be difficult to write one about one's experience, especially if it comes from a very tough time.
Yes, very
It can,
traumatic.
yes, it can be quite sad or it can be quite scary, frightening to look back onto like very traumatic, as you mentioned, traumatic experiences and like really live those
Yes.
experiences.
Revisited the nightmares that they experienced might be very scary for them to share it. And it's something really, really personal.
Yes.
You must have overcome it a long time ago
Yes.
to share it and be open about it. And as for writing a book with your research, it can be quite easy as well. Yes, if you're familiar with the topic. But if not, like some authors who wrote books that are beyond their timeline or beyond their times, like they write stories or books that are you know in the 70s in a war and they haven't experienced it. Yeah, so it's very difficult. So you have to research and make sure that the things that you wrote are factual.
Yes. And so I'm sure our Scott Rand will probably discuss about those or his like challenges that he
Yes.
experienced while doing research about his book. So again, to our viewers, if you're interested, you can drop by his like booth and learn more about the book of it, and maybe ask him what does it stand for.
Yes, of course, I'm actually curious about
Yeah.
that.
Because if you think about the book of it, like what does it?
Yes, it is very interesting, very
Very
mysterious.
big.
Yes.
Serious.
So definitely engage, ask more questions, and he can maybe share his writing process and how he came up with the title.
And why did you think of like writing about food and that?
And how much research did he actually have to go through? And of course, how many days did he lost sleep just to write that and do research? Because that's most important thing. It is important thing to um, know. I'm curious. It's a lot of research. How many hours did he have to go through
Probably
that?
a lot.
I bet. I bet.
Only since he's writing about history.
Exactly. The only person who can answer that is God Ran. So just what you can visit him in his booth and watch his live session. So please enjoy and interact with him. Drop as many questions as you want.
So afterwards, after our little session here, we will also be having another pre-recorded session with Eleanor Gacheta.
Yes, Eleanor. Ellie. Yes, actually, I'm sure you've heard of her. She's actually our Reader's Magnet ambassador. We have a pre-recorded interview with her author of the hour session of I think that was last year's author of the hour for the Festival of Storytellers, chapter 2, and she will talk about her book. One caregiver's journey, and the other one, which is the generation of good food. So,
What is, can you share, like, do you, are you familiar with the one caregiver's journey?
actually, yeah, I was able to interview her actually so during the pre-event interview. So
For this year?
yeah, for this year's event, we had an interview. I had to interview her about what her book is about and the connection of the two books. Because if you notice, One Caregiver's Journey is about her journey taking care of her mom, and the other one is Generation of Foods. It is a recipe book.
Yeah,
It's like a
different.
yeah, two different genres. So everyone who's curious of that, you can watch Ellie's pre-recorded after the hour session on later after our talk late. So yeah, and also you might want to know her famous Ellie's Eight. She will give she'll give tips on how she wrote the book or tips anything. She loves to give out tips and help out other authors as well. So catch her. She'll be doing, she'll will play her pre-recorded session of her author of the hour later.
So for anyone who is interested to maybe grab a copy of her book, again, her stories are interesting, as you
Yes.
mentioned. Also with the recipe, it can be very useful, especially now that Christmas is fast approaching.
Yes, there's a lot of recipes that you can follow, and the Generation Good Food book that she has talks about not just the recipes but the history behind those recipes. She also mentioned the recipe, the history behind those, because it came from her mom as well. So
It's your mom's recipe.
yes, yes. So definitely everyone who's also into cooking, you can grab a copy of her book. It's available on her website and also on Reader's Magnet bookstore.
So definitely grab a copy. Okay. So I guess
Yeah, so we'll stay tuned and we'll be back for more of this question.